Hello and welcome to the Tie Show for May 2nd, 2020. We are here on this wonderful Saturday night, and we actually got some sporting news to talk about today. It'll be a little bit of the longer video than the last two because we actually have some news to talk about. So let's jump straight into it. The NBA, as I've said the last 4 days, feels like there's a new update every single day on if the season's coming back, complications to the season coming back. So we talked about Disneyland, we talked about Vegas, we talked about a little bit of everything. Well, new thing that came out today is that a couple of the GMs are worried on coaches' ages. There are three coaches that are over 65 years old, which puts them in that highly vulnerable to the coronavirus. And so, with 35, 40 people in the stadium that usually are there to perform the games, do we risk those three coaches from getting sick? Um, I think honestly they'll probably drop it to 20 people. I think you could get it with 20. It's going to be a lot of strain, but you could easily do it with 20 people in there. And it's very interesting to see how it all will work out. I know the Thunder were having a great season, and we'll see if they can continue that season, which is a surprising season. But as Presti said today, the number one thing in their eyes is safeness. Like they don't want the season to return unless it is fully safe for everyone in the NBA because they don't want anyone to get sick. And we got to solve this problem in the world before we can have sports back, which I completely agree with in his eyes. I don't want to rush a sport back and risk somebody getting sick and possibly dying over some sports. I mean, as much as we all miss the sports, it's very interesting to see that. But while the NBA's out, as we've talked about, the G League's turning heads, um, getting Dacian Nix, Isaiah Todd, and Jalen Green, who's supposedly the number one player entering college this year. And their new let's get high school recruits method, where they're paying these high school athletes to go play in the G League instead of going to college, is kind of working. I mean, they grabbed the number one player. Isaiah Todd didn't sign his letter of intent to Michigan, but he had said that he was going to Michigan. He joins Jalen Green in the G League, and then you had Dacian Nix this week, who we talked about, actually decommit from UCLA to go. And then there's all the worry about here in Oklahoma about Cade Cunningham, the number two player in the nation, leaving OSU. And Mike Boynton said today, don't be worried about that at all. And he's not worried about it. Cade Cunningham's not worried about it. All signs point that Cade will be here in the fall to play if the season plays on. He said that he's not worried about the G League at all because, again, it's not that many players that are actually leaving. There's a lot of players that still go to college. I mean, as we see, there's only three right now that have actually not gone to college. It's just the big names, and the ESPN makes a big deal about that. And I see where he's coming from, but then again, you're also losing those big name players. I mean, you're going to lose. Jalen Green in college would have been great for TV ratings, and you're going to have a team, whichever team he commits to, get more views because Jalen Green's there. Now that won't happen because he's not there. I mean, OSU will be a really good watch team because Cade Cunningham's projected to be a top five pick next year. We'll see how it all works out, and I'm very interested in see. I don't blame any of the players going to the G League because I've been pushing for players to get paid forever, and this is their way of doing it. Uh, but NBA news out of the way, we go to the NFL, who said today that they are releasing their schedule with no changes at all this week. So they still plan on starting in August. They still plan on training camp. They still plan on all that good stuff. They also said that they expect fans in the stadium this fall, which is very interesting. We'll have to see how that works out. They did say if there did some problems that pop up, uh, it will they'll move it over to October and tweak the schedule a little bit. As they talked about like no bye weeks, no Pro Bowl, and moving the Super Bowl back 3 weeks to finish it all up. Which again, I don't mind as long as we get football. Uh, The Bears also said today that they will not pick up the fifth-year option on Mitchell Trubisky, which makes him a free agent after this year. Doesn't mean that he's out of Chicago. It just means that as of right now, they don't expect him to be on the team next year. They can still work out a deal with him this season if he beats out Nick Foles for the starting job. Be very interested to see who wins that one, and we'll see who. Trubisky, it definitely shows he's not a terrible quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback either. They definitely messed up by taking Trubisky over Mahomes and Watson, as we could clearly see now. Um, but it happens. It does happen. I mean, there's teams that have made mistakes like this. I wouldn't completely call Trubisky a bust yet till he gets out of the league because he has led Chicago to the playoffs once. I know their defense was really good that year, but till he officially is out of the league as a back or as a backup quarterback, then we can call him a bust. But no, he's not lived up to Watson or Mahomes yet at all, and he'll have to step that up. Andy Dalton, who was released by the Bengals, signed with the Dallas Cowboys today on a 1-year, $7 million dollar contract with $3 million of that guaranteed to probably be the backup to Dak Prescott if Dak Prescott decides not to sit out. He'll have to. They're still working on the contract. I know Dak said that he is disgusted by the Cowboys' offer right now. It's I think what he put out there, and it's very interesting to see how. If you are the Cowboys, though, you have Andy Dalton. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Andy Dalton is from Katy, Texas, so he goes back to Dallas. He played at TCU in college. He's got that Texas ties. It's very interesting to see him end up there. I thought he's going to the Patriots, but if Dak doesn't want to sign on that contract, you have Andy Dalton, who thrives when he has weapons around him, and he's got now Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Be very interesting to see if Andy Dalton will win that. That's some cool news this morning. I don't know if you guys saw it on ESPN, but Thor Borjan, aka the Mountain from Games of Thrones, aka the world's strongest man, set the deadlift world record at 1,104 pounds. It's crazy to even think that you could even deadlift that, even the slightest, and he he deadlifted it like it was nothing. The world record was 500 kilograms. He lifted 501 kilograms. So the world's strongest man now has the world's largest deadlift. You'll watch it on YouTube. I know it's up there. I watched it this morning. It's pretty funny because his trainer hypes him up and he's like screaming the whole time at the top of his lungs. And it's very entertaining. It gave me something to do this morning at like 11 o'clock. And yeah, congrats to him. Congrats to Andy Dalton in Dallas. Not congrats to Trubisky, but hopefully he can work that out. We'll see how the NBA and the NFL seasons go on. That's it for me today. Leave a like, leave a comment, telling me what you thought of the Andy Dalton to Dallas, Trubisky not being picked up by Chicago, what you think of the G League, maybe the new NFL NBA rules. It's very interesting to see what will happen. As we know, lockouts lifted about, I don't know how many states, but I know Oklahoma, Texas, a couple other states have lifted their lockdowns. We'll see how that all works out. I mean, we're still restricted, of course, but yeah, keep safe, keep washing your hands, keep social distancing for a little bit, people. We're almost done with this, seems like, for now. But that's it for me today. Leave a like, comment. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.